Oh, hey there. If you have shoulder pain or lower back pain when performing shoulder pressing, then this video is going to be for you. You're going to have to watch it. You're going to have to turn on notifications so you know when my next upload video comes out and that you're subscribed to the channel. And also, look, you don't know where to get started with your workouts. I have a 52 workout guide that you can just click and get a bunch of workouts into your inbox in exchange for your email address. I promise I won't spam you or anything like that. I'm going to help you so that you can press super nice, very good. Let's dive right in. Think about your shoulder joint as a golf ball on a tee. It doesn't take a lot to knock that golf ball off the tee, right? Same thing with your shoulder joint. There's lots of wacky stuff that you can do accidentally that kind of will irritate that area. And it will also actually bother your lower back too if you're doing overhead pressing because you don't have the shoulder mobility necessary to get your arm over your head, and you're borrowing that mobility from your lower back. So you're putting a lot of pressure in an area that wasn't designed for that much pressure in that specific position. So one of the first stretches we're going to look at here is called a pec minor dynamic stretch. Now, I absolutely love this. It's going to get deep into your pec minor and also come all the way into your bicep and pretty much get all the cranky areas. So what you'll need is a bench that's about this height. You can use a couch, you can use a chair, you can use a stairwell, whatever you have available to you. You'll place one hand on it. You'll have your fingers facing that 45-degree angle. You're going to bend your elbow up. So you're creating this shape, and then you'll take your body and you're going to rotate away. So already being in this rotated position, you'll feel a stretch start to happen through, especially as you roll the shoulder forward, which is the action. So we're going to do 10 dynamic contractions. Dynamic contraction is rolling the shoulder forward into that stretch position and pushing down through the arm to come back up. So 1, 2, 3. To make it even more, you can rotate your whole body as you do it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On that 10th one, you're just going to sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. Breathe deep. Feel that stretch. Breathe deep. Feel that stretch. And you're going to do it one more time. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that stretched position. You're going to hold it. You'll hold it for about 30 seconds. Really lean into this rotated position. Rotate towards that hand that's on the ground for a bigger stretch. Breathe deep into your belly. Exhale, let it go. Shake it out. Perform the stretch on the other side. The next stretch we're going to look at is going to stretch the shoulder capsule. If we get into the shoulder capsule, I know you're going to be like, this doesn't look like it's going to stretch my shoulder. You're going to find that your overhead reach is going to go through the roof. So for this posterior shoulder stretch, what you're going to need is a bench, or you can do this on the floor. I know for a lot of people that can be uncomfortable though, so we're going to start with the bench. You'll take one arm, you'll reach across your body, and from here, all you're going to do, start looking up at the ceiling, and then rotate towards that arm. Now you should feel a big stretch. If you don't feel a stretch and you feel pins and needles, what that means is you're actually on a nerve. So you're going to back off that stretch and you're going to move your arm up closer to a 45-degree angle. From there, you'll shift your weight back over and you should feel a huge stretch across the front of the shoulder, possibly all the way up into the trap. It depends on where you're tightest. And from here, the dynamic action is going to be pretty simple. It's going to be as if I'm trying to pull my arm out from under me and bitch slap someone behind me. So I'm going to get that position. You're not actually going to do it, but what you're going to do is you're going to push into the bench and come away. Watch, ready? Bitch slap, come back down. Bitch slap, come back down. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Allow your weight to shift into this new range of motion. Your goal is eventually to have that other shoulder be in contact, right? Or in this position. Big stretch. We'll hold it for up to 30 seconds. Let's say we held it for those 30 seconds, and now we're going to go into another set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now try to almost it's like you're trying to lift your arm up as you shift your weight over. Like you're trying to pull it up towards the ceiling to get into that deep range of motion. Relax. You shouldn't have any pins or needles. Shouldn't have any numbing. If you do, again, back off that stretch slightly. That just means you are stretching a nerve, and we don't want to be doing that. Yeah, rest in that position. Once you rest up, the way you get out of it is you push the arm down to roll off, and then you'll do the other side. We loosened up our shoulders a little bit. I'm going to just show you one more example of a mobility drill that I want you to practice so you can learn what it feels like to actually load the shoulders in a more stable position. Oftentimes when we're pressing overhead, the big thing that we see is we take this big range of motion out here, and it kind of upsets our shoulders and also causes us to lean into our lower back. So what we're going to take a look at is called the bent arm A-frame. Now to get ourselves into this position, we're first going to establish our A-frame. Into this position, you'll have shoulders stacked directly over your wrists, knees directly underneath your hip, knees hip width apart. From here, you're just going to elevate your knees and then push your butt up as high as you can. Now, I'm moving forward so my feet can push up as much as you can. So you're pushing through those arms, yeah? And you're not collapsing in, right? We're stacking, so our ears stay between our shoulder blades. Okay? If you have the flexibility for it, you can drop your heels, push your butt up towards the sky. Now, if this is too difficult for you, you can leave those heels up. Keep those legs straight. If you need to bend slightly and push your butt up, that's okay. Work on slowly being able to lower down over time. That's what you can work on. That's how you can go about it. Okay, once we've established this position, now we're going to get to the bent arm position. All I want you to do is bend your elbows toward you. That's it. It's really small range of motion here. Bend your elbows back towards you. If you find that you can't bend your elbows back towards you and that they're flared out, I want you to turn your hands slightly out and bend the elbows back. Okay? That's it. That's the starting position. We want to establish that first. If that feels comfortable for you, what we're going to do now is shift our weight forward. So, I'm going to tuck my shirt in. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to get in that downward dog position, A-frame position, whatever we want to call it for argument's sake. We're up. We have our elbows bent down. From here, keeping those elbows in, we're going to shift our weight forward. Keep those elbows in. If this is as far as you can go, great. If you can go further forward, awesome. Keep your butt up the entire time. Butt up, butt up, butt up. If that feels easy, you can walk your feet forward. You can walk, you can walk, you can walk, you can walk. Go forward until you feel like your feet want to float off the floor eventually. But the whole point of this is so that we can establish, oh, okay, this is where my shoulder needs to be so it feels more stable. This is not going to let me arch through my back as much when I press. Being here and arch, you automatically feel it, okay? So that's why we looked at the bent arm A-frame. Now let's take a look at some of our presses. In your standard shoulder press, it's really easy for the weight to be a little too heavy and for you to get there by arching to fake your mobility. This is where your range of motion is, right? But you think you're getting it overhead because you're leaning back, but what you really want is here, yeah? So one tweak that we're going to make to our press for any shoulder discomfort is instead of pressing out here, we're going to bring it into 45 degrees. Press 45 degrees. You'll still get a great amount of shoulder work. It'll take all that pressure off the joint. So instead of being out, bring it into 45 degrees. That's how I press most of the time, especially when I'm using like kettlebells. Not really concerned about military pressing. Want to keep my shoulders happy. I find that irritates my shoulders. Number two, when we are pressing, We don't want to arch through our back now. So step number one is we're going to practice something called tall kneeling. Tall kneeling position, basically, you can have an RX pad, a towel, yoga mat underneath your knees. This is a tall kneeling position, right? We're not sitting on our butt, although you could press like this, but without any tension at all in your lower body, you're going to find that you're going to put it all in your lower back. So we're up, we're squeezing our butt as much as we can, and we're nice and tall, okay? From here, I prefer using one dumbbell instead of two. One dumbbell is going to force you to have to pay attention to your form, and it's not going to allow you to cheat to arch. Okay, we're going to stick with one dumbbell for now. So I have this dumbbell, I have my hips driving forward, and from here, what do? Press up at that 45-degree angle. Get that full range of motion. What we're doing right now is actually using the range of motion that we worked on in the beginning with those mobility drills. That's the whole point of mobility. You got to use the range of motion that you're building after. Okay? When that feels easy for you, I like doing a half kneeling shoulder press. Half kneeling, pretty much what it sounds like. But what I like about this is it puts my hip in this position where I feel that stretch. Being in this position, happy hips. Now you have a choice. You can perform pressing on the same side as the leg, which I enjoy because that actually places more stress on that hip flexor, allows you to get deeper stress. Or you can perform ipsilateral on the contralateral on the opposite side. The opposite side, it just forces you to have to control a little bit more and get a little more ab work in there, but I'm going to actually stick on the ipsilateral side, so same side. So I'm here, I have my hips squared, pushing up. From here, I'm just going to press up. Feel that big stretch? Ooh, big stretch. You have to keep that glute engaged. And again, I'm not coming out. Doesn't feel good. I'm staying at 45 degrees for me. Chances are you're going to need that too. Okay, so those are two pressing variations. The third pressing variation I really, really enjoy just because it's nice to have our hips in different positions. Right, so we had our tall kneeling, our half kneeling. Now we have our half straddle. You've probably never pressed like this before. It's a unique way to press. We're not resting down on our butt, we're up here. Again, something underneath your knee. Where you press from, you can either press here and get that stretch, or press from the side. I actually like to press from the side where the leg is out, so I get that stretch. So from here, press up. Once you finish your reps on one side, you would switch to the other side. This half straddle position. Now look, everyone's going to have a different range of motion. That's totally fine. Some money right here is you're working on your groin in this position. And that actually prevents a lot of injuries. Also can be really helpful for the lower back. All of those positions are going to actually stretch out your hip flexors and activate your glutes a bit more, which will help with that lower back discomfort and still allow you to press overhead without any of that pain. So look, we covered a lot today. Again, just take it step by step. Maybe you pick one of the stretches that we did in the beginning and one of the press variations. It's going to be new for you. You're probably going to have to use lighter weight in the beginning, but lighter weight doesn't mean that it's easier. It just means you're going to be able to use a full range of motion with proper form, which is what we're trying to do anyway in the long run of things. Make sure that you have notifications turned on, that you're subscribed to the channel, that you have any questions, you comment below and let me know because I love answering them. Is there a different press or a different movement that gives you like aches and pains? Would you like to see a video on it? Let me know. I'm always happy to answer. And without further ado, remember, you're one day away from getting back on track and one day away from realizing how fucking amazing you are.